Hold up, y'all. The rap game just took a turn so wild, so unbelievable, that even TMZ couldn't have scripted it. King Harris, yes, that King Harris, the outspoken, sometimes chaotic son of Atlanta's trap general, T.I., is allegedly fighting for his life after a brain surgery that nobody was supposed to know about. And when I say nobody, I mean nobody. This wasn't a routine checkup, and it wasn't a minor migraine. This was the type of surgery that leaves a person hooked up to machines, surrounded by a room full of doctors and their family signing pages of paperwork they might not even fully understand, all while hoping and praying that things go the way they should. The questions that follow are impossible to ignore. Why is there such secrecy? Why is T.I. walking the halls with stacks of confidential medical documents, almost like he's auditioning for a rap-themed episode of Grey's Anatomy? And why are nurses reportedly whispering that King slipped into a coma while the family's PR machine floods social media with old clips, making it seem like nothing is wrong? This isn't just a medical crisis. It's a scandal layered in secrecy, sprinkled with NDAs, and served hot with a side of hip-hop royalty silence. Because when your child's life is on the line, but your empire is too valuable to risk, what do? You cover, you deny, and eventually the truth starts leaking. Money can buy almost anything: mansions, private jets, luxury cars, even silence. But what happens when silence itself becomes the most dangerous currency of all? Right now, the Harris household is holding a secret so explosive, so potent, that no amount of fame or fortune could ever bury it. King Harris, the son of rap mogul and reality star Tiny, is reportedly lying in a hospital bed after undergoing a brain surgery so intense that medical staff whispered it could alter the very fabric of his life forever. And instead of transparency, instead of honesty, what did the public get? Carefully staged Instagram posts, recycled old footage presented as if it were current, and a father clutching confidential medical papers like he was auditioning for a role in a high-stakes government thriller. This is no longer just a family crisis. It's a full-blown PR chess game, with every move calculated to protect the brand at all costs. Let's be honest for a second. King Harris hasn't exactly been the poster child for stability. He's gone viral multiple times for live streams in which he lashed out at fans, for public brawls that immediately turned into memes, and for moments of drama that seemed almost deliberately chaotic. And every single time he spiraled, who was there to pick up the pieces? His parents, T.I. and Tiny, cleaning up mess after mess, sweeping the dust under their metaphorical velvet red carpet, hoping that the cracks in their carefully cultivated empire would go unnoticed. But this time, the crack widened into a fracture, and that fracture might just be large enough to bring the Harris dynasty to its knees. Because when your child is wheeled into an operating room for brain surgery, yes, brain surgery, there is no influence, no filter, and no trap royalty title that can soften the reality of the situation. The whispers suggest that King didn't come out the same as he went in, and that reality, unfiltered and uncut, is terrifying. Here's where things get darker. Sources close to the situation, nurses who refuse to reveal their names, family friends who suddenly have a lot to say when the cameras are off, claim that King slipped into a coma after the procedure. A coma. While the world was scrolling through humorous clips of King online, the reality was that he was unresponsive, hooked up to a network of machines while doctors paced and shook their heads in tense anticipation. And where was T.I.? Standing in the corner holding files like they were mixtape liner notes, giving off the illusion of control, when in reality, he was simply another father praying for a miracle, hoping the outcome wouldn't destroy him emotionally and psychologically. And then there's Tiny, the mother, the protector, the one who has weathered countless scandals herself, and now faces the unthinkable, watching her son fight for his life. Witnesses say she broke down in the hospital room, crying so intensely that nurses had to ask her to step aside so the doctors could work without distraction. But make no mistake, grief does not erase the obsession with image. Even as tears streamed down her face, the Harris machine was already in motion. Don't let this leak. Post that old video of King smiling. Make sure no one sees him with tubes attached to his head. The narrative must be controlled no matter what. And let's not forget Big Nana. Every Southern family has that one matriarch who refuses to bite her tongue, and Big Nana is reportedly furious. She's allegedly storming hospital hallways, pointing fingers, demanding answers, and making it clear to anyone willing to listen that this family cares more about reputation than the well-being of the child. And she might not be wrong.
Think about it. Secrecy, cover-ups, carefully curated smiles on Instagram, while the reality inside the hospital looks like a scene straight out of a medical drama. And here's the kicker. This isn't the first time the Harris clan has played hide-and-seek with the truth. Cheating scandals, messy legal battles, fights that vanish from public record, they have a PR machine in place for handling crises. But the difference this time, you can't sweep brain surgery under the rug. You can't Photoshop a coma. You can't pretend your son's head wasn't literally opened on an operating table. Yet, according to insiders, that's exactly what they're trying to do. T.I. has been seen leaving the hospital with manila folders, acting as if he has full control over the situation. But sources say those folders contain restrictions, non-disclosure agreements, and gag orders designed specifically to silence anyone daring to speak the truth.
Because the last thing the Harris empire wants is a headline screaming, "King Harris in critical condition after botched brain surgery." Imagine the fallout. Not just the personal impact, but the impact on a brand carefully cultivated over years. And let's talk about the fans. They're not oblivious, they notice the gaps. Why hasn't King gone live in weeks? Why are old clips being recycled as if they're fresh? Why hasn't T.I. addressed these swirling rumors? Social media is relentless, and once it smells blood, the frenzy is unstoppable. Comments pile up, conspiracies multiply faster than likes on a viral TikTok. And no matter how many NDAs T.I. distributes, the whispers grow louder, the questions sharper, the patience thinner. Here's the truth. The Harris family is fighting two battles simultaneously. One takes place in the hospital room, where doctors are working tirelessly to keep King alive. The other is happening online, where the empire of image and reputation is cracking under the weight of speculation and scrutiny. And so far, both battles appear to be slipping from their control. Because here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. What if King doesn't wake up? What if the story doesn't end with a triumphant comeback, but instead with tragedy? And if that happens, what becomes of the Harris brand? What happens to the carefully crafted illusion of a powerful, untouchable family? Here's the dangerous reality. When a family refuses to tell the truth, the world begins creating its own version of events. And trust me, the public imagination is far scarier than reality. Already, anonymous insiders are flooding blogs with supposed details about what actually went down in the operating room. Some claim the surgery wasn't even scheduled to happen. It was rushed after a medical mishap during a fight King allegedly had weeks prior. Others report that King had been complaining about headaches for months, but the family dismissed his pain as dramatic behavior. Imagine the irony. A child accused of being extra may have actually been pleading for help. And don't think the public is sitting idly waiting for an official statement. The streets are talking. Twitter fingers are flying faster than hospital monitors. Hashtags are trending. Fan pages are uploading receipts claiming they saw King stumble, slur his words, and even black out during Instagram lives in the weeks leading up to this alleged emergency surgery. The timeline isn't adding up, and skepticism is growing. Even T.I. is under fire. People accuse him of weaponizing his son's pain for sympathy points instead of facing the truth. Every time he's seen leaving the hospital with those folders tucked under his arm, the narrative expands. He's hiding something, buying silence, treating his child's condition like a classified government file. Think about that. Your child is in critical condition, and your first instinct is paperwork instead of transparency? Only in the Harris family. And Tiny isn't exempt from scrutiny. She's dropping cryptic posts that attempt to play both sides. One day, it's a throwback of King as a baby, captioned, "My warrior." The next day, it's a glam shot like nothing is wrong. Fans see right through it. The glitter doesn't hide the truth. It makes the lies sparkle. And Big Nana? Lord have mercy. Witnesses say she's storming the hospital hallways like a one-woman protest, calling T.I. out in front of staff, saying stop worrying about your image and start worrying about your child. However, hospital insiders have described the next 48 hours as critical. Within that fragile window, every second counts. Every heartbeat matters. It is a time when hope and despair intersect in a fragile, almost cruel dance.
For King's parents, family, and millions of fans around the world, these words are far more than medical updates. They are daggers that pierce hope with every passing hour. Outside the hospital, the atmosphere is thick with tension, grief, and dread. T.I. has been spotted pacing the corridors with his head buried in his hands, each step weighed down by a father's unbearable guilt, a man grappling with circumstances beyond his control, yet feeling every ounce of responsibility. Tiny, King's mother, collapses into sobs repeatedly, clinging to friends for support as cameras capture the rawest and most intimate form of parental devastation. Their public plea has been simple, yet heart-wrenching. Please pray for our son. He needs a miracle. And the world has responded with a tidal wave of emotion, from heartfelt prayers to viral social media campaigns. The hashtag #PrayForKingHarris has taken over social media, trending across platforms as strangers, fans, and celebrities flood timelines with messages of solidarity, virtual candles, and calls for collective prayer. But while the prayers spread like wildfire, so too have been whispers of suspicion and conspiracy. What began as a tragic incident inside a jail cell is now being dissected by millions online, each theory more chilling than the last. Reports emerging from sources inside the prison suggest that King might not have been the victim of random violence, but rather the target of a carefully orchestrated attack. Some claim he stumbled across information he was never meant to know, secrets about powerful gangs, smuggling operations, and criminal networks that thrive in the shadows of prison life. According to these sources, silencing him was a priority, and the attack was no accident. Even whispers linking rival factions within the rap industry have begun to circulate, with some pointing fingers at figures whose names have long been associated with feuds and rivalries. Among those mentioned is Boozy, whose camp has been accused of orchestrating a retaliatory attack connected to past scandals and tensions that had reportedly tarnished reputations and stirred animosity. While none of these allegations have been confirmed, the mere possibility that the worlds of music, politics, and prison violence collided in such a devastating way has sent shockwaves through fans and insiders alike.
Inside the hospital, the tragedy is raw, relentless, and almost suffocating. Family members gather outside the ICU, their hands clasped in desperate prayers, their tears soaking tissues and sleeves, each sob a testament to their fear and anguish. The beeping of machines has become a fragile soundtrack to King's fight for life, each pulse a reminder that the boundary between survival and loss is perilously thin. Doctors deliver updates in clipped, clinical tones, warning that even if King pulls through, the catastrophic nature of his brain trauma could leave him permanently altered. Memory loss, impaired speech, irreversible neurological damage, these are not abstract possibilities but looming threats, haunting the family as they cling to the hope of simply hearing his voice once more. The idea that the vibrant, unpredictable, and often controversial King Harris may never return as he once was hangs like a heavy shadow in the hospital corridors, pressing down on everyone present. Meanwhile, the digital world has become a battleground of emotion, sympathy, blame, and speculation. Fans share clips of King laughing, rapping, and joking, desperately holding on to the memory of the young man full of life. Others, harsher in tone, direct blame at T.I. and his family, accusing them of pushing King into the spotlight too early, of exploiting his controversies for attention while ignoring the dangers swirling around him. Viral posts declare he was fed to the wolves and now everyone's shocked the wolves bit back. These accusations sting, adding a layer of public scrutiny and judgment to the private agony of parents already drowning in grief. For every hashtag offering prayers, another thread emerges, weaving a complex tapestry of suspicion, resentment, and anger. Street forums, social media groups, and anonymous accounts speculate on inside jobs, potential gang involvement, and even the possibility that prison staff may have been complicit in the attack. Some allege that security cameras on King's block went offline moments before the assault, while guards mysteriously disappeared from their posts, raising questions about whether this was an orchestrated setup.
The timing is too precise to ignore, and for many, the idea that this was a deliberate act rather than a random clash has deepened fury and mistrust. For the Harris family, however, the speculation matters little compared to the crushing reality they face inside hospital walls. Every hour feels like a countdown. Every silence from doctors strikes another blow to their already shattered hearts. Friends close to the family say they are preparing for the worst, whispering privately about what life will look like if King never wakes up, or if he survives only to face a lifetime of dependency. These are thoughts no parent should ever endure, yet the Harris family is forced to confront them under the merciless glare of the public eye. And still, amidst the heartbreak and suspicion, a current of resilience runs quietly. Around the world, fans organize vigils in cities far from Atlanta, send letters of encouragement, and flood timelines with messages of hope. Churches hold prayer services in his name. Children post videos of themselves praying for his recovery. In these moments, King becomes more than the troubled son of a rap superstar. He becomes a symbol of the fragility of youth, the dangers of fame, and the need for compassion in a world all too quick to judge. As night deepens, King Harris lies in a sterile hospital bed, machines performing the work his body no longer can, while his parents keep vigil in a haze of fear, exhaustion, and heartbreak. Somewhere between life and death, his fate remains undecided. Whether he awakens or fades into silence, one truth is already clear. This is no longer just a family tragedy. It is a moment that has captivated millions, intertwining grief, conspiracy, and the desperate human hope that a miracle might still be possible. With each passing hour, the crisis deepens. The swelling in King's brain has not subsided, and if he does not respond soon, the damage could be permanent. The possibility of lifelong impairment or worse, death, looms over him, crushing the millions who watch this tragedy unfold in real time. T.I., usually composed and commanding, has been seen erupting at medical staff in frustration, demanding answers no one can give. Tiny whispers through tears that she wants nothing more than her baby back. Their pain is laid bare in front of the world, a family stripped of privacy at its most vulnerable hour. Outside, chaos unfolds. Crowds of supporters and protesters mingle, holding candles and chanting prayers, demanding justice and accountability. Posters read, "Who set him up?" and "Justice for King." Online, hashtags like #JusticeForKing and #WhoPlannedThis trend alongside #PrayForKing Harris, amplifying both grief and suspicion. Leaked details, some credible and some dubious, have dismantled the narrative of a random prison fight, replacing it with chilling allegations of premeditation. Some claim a bounty was placed on King's head. Others insist he uncovered sensitive information about powerful gangs, corrupt officials, and criminal networks operating within prison walls. Some even point fingers at the rap industry, suggesting that rivalries and past scandals contributed to the attack. Whether truth or rumor, the narrative has spread like wildfire. Viral videos connect leaks, scandals, and reputational damage to the sudden silencing of King Harris. And while nobody knows the full truth, the digital jury has already rendered their verdict.
This was no accident. The Harris family, caught in the glare of relentless attention, is unraveling under the weight of public scrutiny. T.I., once unshakable, paces the hospital corridors like a man on the edge of collapse. Tiny, exhausted, survives on coffee, tears, and fragile hope. Their other children grieve privately while the world dissects their brother's tragedy. Strangers accuse T.I. and Tiny of years of bad parenting, claiming they pushed King into the spotlight for clout while ignoring the dangers surrounding him. Viral posts label them as architects of their son's downfall, each accusation cutting deeper than the last, turning private anguish into a public spectacle. The shockwaves extend far beyond the family. Within the music industry, reactions are intense and divided. Fellow rappers, producers, and celebrities flood social media with messages of support, some cryptic, others ominous, hinting that King's fate is tied to deeper conflicts. Theories suggest he may have been a pawn in games far larger than himself, where silencing him served the interests of those who thrive in the shadows.
While the Harris family prays for a flicker of life, anger simmers among fans and insiders alike. Threats of retaliation emerge online, ominous warnings hinting that if King dies, the consequences could ripple violently through the streets and the rap world. The hospital itself has become a fortress. Private guards now stand watch at King's door, and police patrol the hallways after whispers that even within those sterile walls, he may not be safe. Allegations have surfaced of masked figures tampering with hospital equipment near his bed, intensifying fears that the attack may not yet be over. Tiny herself admitted she no longer trusts anyone, too terrified to leave her son's side. The world watches as a mother keeps vigil in fear, embodying both sorrow and rage in equal measure. This is no longer just a medical crisis. It is a nightmare that refuses to end, a story of violence, suspicion, and heartbreak that has gripped the hip-hop world and the world at large. Doctors continue to warn that even survival may not bring salvation. The scale of King's injuries suggests a future haunted by permanent disability, memory loss, or lifelong dependency. Fans struggle to reconcile the energetic, brash young man once filling social feeds with antics and controversy, now lying silent and helpless. For T.I. and Tiny, the thought is unbearable. They do not want statistics or clinical predictions. They want their son back, alive, laughing, breathing. Every tick of the clock is a cruel reminder that time may not be on their side. And the tragedy of King Harris has grown far beyond the boy himself. It has become a symbol of the dangers of fame, the fragility of youth, and the devastating consequences of secrets too dangerous to know. However, the story takes a darker turn when you consider reports suggesting that this wasn't simply a random prison fight. Whispers are spreading that King Harris may have been specifically targeted. Sources allege that he knew too much about dangerous prison gangs, that secrets he uncovered made him a liability, and that silencing him could have been the only solution for those who feared exposure. Social media is alive with speculation, and shocking leaks are pointing fingers at Boosie's camp, alleging they orchestrated the attack as revenge for scandals that tarnished their own reputation. Meanwhile, outside the hospital, T.I. and Tiny are visibly devastated, breaking down in tears and begging the public for prayers. "Please pray for our son," they plead. "He needs a miracle to survive." Social media exploded overnight, with hashtags like Pray for King Harris trending worldwide. Fans, strangers, and fellow artists are all clinging to hope, while critics question whether the Harris family put their son in the spotlight, suggesting that fame and public attention might have contributed to this dangerous outcome. King Harris's situation is harrowing in every sense. A young life is hanging in the balance, and the weight of grief and uncertainty has fallen on a family already accustomed to public scrutiny. Once a controversial celebrity kid known for wild antics, viral live streams, and social media outbursts, now lies unconscious in a hospital bed, fighting for survival. After the savage jail attack, the blow to his head was so severe that emergency brain surgery became the only option to save his life. Yet, what was meant to protect him now leaves him trapped in a coma. Outside the ICU, family members cry openly, friends offer whispered words of comfort, and T.I. paces with his head in his hands, clearly overwhelmed by the gravity of the situation. Doctors emphasize that the next 48 hours are absolutely critical. Every second matters, and the possibility of permanent brain damage, or worse, is looming like a dark cloud over the entire Harris family. Fans around the world are praying, sharing posts, lighting candles, and sending messages of hope. The hashtag Pray for King Harris has become more than just a trend. It's a global cry for life. Yet, even amidst the prayers, darker whispers of conspiracy swirl. Sources claim that King was deliberately targeted inside the prison, ambushed by inmates allegedly sent to silence him. The reasoning? King may have stumbled into dangerous prison gangs, names of gangs, and illegal operations that could have exposed powerful individuals behind the bars. Reports also suggest connections to Boosie's camp. Tensions between King and Boosie escalated after leaked scandals, and some insiders claim that Boosie's team may have wanted King removed quietly before he caused more chaos. Nothing has been officially confirmed, but the speculation is intense enough to turn this tragedy into a full-blown scandal, raising questions not only about the attack itself, but about the inner workings of the music industry, prison politics, and family dynamics under the microscope of public attention. The streets are alive with chatter, outrage, and speculation. Online forums are filled with theories pointing fingers at rival rappers, prison gangs, and even prison staff. One particularly chilling rumor claims that surveillance cameras mysteriously went offline just minutes before the attack, hinting that this may have been a carefully planned setup rather than a random act of violence. T.I., once known for his confidence and control, has been seen visibly broken, reportedly lashing out at hospital staff while demanding answers about how such a violent attack could occur in a supposedly secure facility. Tiny, overwhelmed with grief, is reportedly whispering through tears, "We just want our baby back." Friends of the family say they are preparing for the worst, but clinging to hope remains their only source of comfort. This tragedy has rocked not only the family, but also the hip-hop industry. Fellow rappers, producers, and celebrities are flooding social media with messages of support, while some quietly hint that the attack may reveal a darker underworld of rap rivalries, prison politics, and unresolved feuds that have been simmering for years.
The public is torn. Many fans are fervently praying for King's recovery, while critics have begun placing blame on T.I. and Tiny. Some argue that years of decisions, parenting choices, and the pressures of fame contributed to King's trajectory of risky behavior, suggesting that he was pushed too far into the spotlight while warning signs were ignored. One viral comment summed it up brutally. "They raised him in chaos, fed him to fame, and now act surprised it ate him alive." But the controversy doesn't stop there. Allegations have emerged that the family may be hiding something. Bloggers and social media users claim that King's tragedy has been used to distract the public from deeper scandals, including financial troubles and secret lawsuits. Could King's suffering be part of a larger, deliberate cover-up? Every hour brings new theories, new leaks, and new speculation. King's body remains in the hospital bed, a battleground between life and death. Doctors continue to emphasize the critical nature of the situation. If King does not show signs of recovery within the next 48 hours, the damage could be irreversible. Yet, amidst the uncertainty, hope persists. Prayer circles, church vigils, and global fan campaigns reflect a universal desire for King to survive. Still, a darker reality looms. Should King fail to recover, this tragedy could ignite grief, rage, and potential retaliation. Rival factions within the rap world have already hinted that consequences will follow if King dies. One chilling post read, "If the prince falls, the kingdom burns." For the Harrises, this nightmare has become inescapable. A son in a coma, a father overwhelmed by guilt, a mother begging strangers for prayers, and an entire world watching and debating whether this was merely prison violence or a calculated attempt to destroy a young life. King Harris's story has grown beyond one individual. It has become a symbol of the collision between fame, family, crime, and conspiracy. Every passing second is a reminder of how fragile life can be, and even if King survives, nothing will ever be the same. Hospital corridors echo with whispers, prayers, and uncontrollable emotion. Late last night, doctors issued another chilling update. Swelling in King's brain had not decreased. If he does not respond within 24 hours, the damage may be permanent. Tiny collapsed upon hearing the news, screaming, "I can't bury my son. He's just a child. He's supposed to bury me one day."
That raw moment, captured by cameras and spread across social media, left millions in tears and cemented King's plight as a global tragedy. Outside the hospital, crowds gather with signs reading, "Justice for King. Who set him up?" Hashtags like "Pray for King Harris" and "King Coma" trend across Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Yet, alongside hope and prayers, the internet has shown a darker side. Conspiracy theorists and bloggers have turned King's suffering into viral content, with some suggesting that T.I. himself played a role in his son's tragedy, sacrificing him to hide family secrets. Then came another shocking development. A leaked medical report suggested traces of a mysterious toxin in King's system, unrelated to the prison fight. Doctors off the record remarked, "These aren't injuries from fists alone. Something else was done to him." If true, this revelation suggests that King may have been deliberately targeted and poisoned, igniting outrage across the globe. The horror escalated when an alleged CCTV clip surfaced online showing two masked individuals tampering with machines near King's bed before quickly leaving. If authentic, King isn't even safe in the hospital. The family now operates under 24/7 security, yet fear remains. Tiny herself admitted, "I'm scared to leave his side. I don't trust anyone right now." Celebrities continue to react, some with prayers, others with posts reigniting debates about King's knowledge and influence. What truths did he hold that made him a target? Were they industry secrets, corrupt officials, or something even darker, so explosive that removing him seemed the only option? Tiny has become the emotional epicenter of this tragedy. Video footage shows her pressing her hand against the ICU glass, whispering, "Baby, come back to me. Please come back to me." That footage has been viewed over 20 million times, breaking hearts worldwide. Fans demand accountability, plan protests, and warn of retaliation. Online forums are rife with speculation, threats, and ominous predictions of bloodshed. Now the plot thickens. Whispers suggest that the surgery didn't go as planned. Complications reportedly arose mid-procedure, leaving doctors scrambling. Imagine the scene: alarms beeping, nurses whispering, doctors moving quickly, while outside, T.I. paces like he's waiting for a billboard chart to climb. The family hasn't confirmed or denied anything, which only intensifies the silence. Because let's be honest, if the surgery had gone smoothly, wouldn't we already be seeing celebratory posts, balloons, and staged hospital selfies? Instead, all we see are recycled clips and carefully cropped angles. Suspicious? Absolutely. Fans aren't just gossiping, they're demanding answers. Memes are popping up, such as one showing T.I. holding a folder with the caption, "When you treat your son's condition like the nuclear codes." Funny? Yes. Sad? Even more so, because behind the meme, the truth is still hidden. So here's where we are. King Harris is lying in a hospital bed, fighting for his life, while rumors, leaks, and conspiracy theories spin faster than the family can keep up. Brain surgery, secrecy, NDAs, and a father breaking silence with half answers, this is the perfect storm of hip-hop, heartbreak, and scandal. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think the Harris family is protecting King's privacy, or are they protecting their brand? Is this a family truly fighting for survival, or is this just another celebrity cover-up gone too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's get this discussion started. And if you want me to keep exposing the stories they don't want you to hear, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Trust me, the next chapter is coming, and you do not want to miss it.